Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very new type of video. What I'm doing today is basically the Briggs Myers personality test. As you can see, it's a 16 personalities. Actually, might be cut off. Yep, it's cut off. Cool. So this is 16personalities.com. It uses the Briggs Myers test to basically categorize your personality into one of 16 different categories. Now, to quickly clarify, I don't hold a ton of weight to this, and because of that, I'm actually doing a little bit of an experiment today. While I've taken this test in the past, several years ago, I plan on taking it again today, completely honestly, but then also, right after, doing the complete opposite of what I answered before. And that way, I can see if there's actually a lot of accuracy to the personalities, or if they just kind of tell you what you want to hear, kind of dealio. I understand it's probably a mix between the two. I don't think it's entirely accurate, and I also don't think it's entirely non-accurate, to say the least. After all, there are different results. But I mainly just want to see what happened. Also, I'm curious if I'm going to get something different than what I got before. The personality code I got before was INFJ, which basically means something I actually don't remember. I'm curious if I'm going to get something different now, because I do feel like my personality has changed a little bit since I've last done this. So basically, yeah, we're just going to go for it. We're just going to, it's just a little test, a little fun thing. Again, if you want to try this yourself, 16personalities.com, go for it. I don't like, there's certain aspects of my life I don't really like talking about that much in general, but not just on YouTube, but also in a regular conversation. One of the things that has always fascinated me, though, was personalities and how people interact with each other, and who clicks with other people and who specifically doesn't click with other people. That part has always fascinated me. So I've talked about my own personality quite a bit, not just in my Patnat videos and whatnot, or my all my videos, the YouTube videos, but also just in regular conversation. It's something I quite normally talk about on a regular basis. It's one of the few things about me that I am very much comfortable speaking on, other than opinions. Obviously, my game critique or movie critique, that's another thing I'm constantly verbal about. Anyway, let's get started. You enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. This is something I still... vibrant social events with lots of people. If it didn't have vibrant and lots, I probably would do something a little bit easier, but I think I have to full disagree with that. I really don't like vibrant events, and I don't like events with a lot of people typically. So let's disagree. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. Explore, yes, definitely. Although I would say I'm relatively bound by practicality to a sense, so I would say probably medium on that one. I don't think I'd go a full agree. Because I do think I have a level of practicality in my dreaming, per se. Okay, your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. Travel plans. This one I might be more in the middle of. Rough list of ideas. There are some times where I very much go with the flow, especially with traveling. But having a list of ideas, that sounds more like than planning out every minute detail. Even though I might like the idea of planning out every detail, I would say relatively disagree. But I do like to plan a lot of stuff, so I don't know. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after saying, yes. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people full-heartedly agree with this, right? I'm pretty sure most people agree on that. Every once in a while, it just pops into your head. Maybe you're lying in bed and you're like, oh, I should have said this or what. I'm constantly thinking about that. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve their problem. I won't. I would be lying if I said my initial instinct didn't have any problem solving in it. It's something I'm actively trying to work towards. Though I'm trying to instinctively solve their problems less these days. But it also kind of depends on the person. Some people who are closer, I might think immediately about trying to help the situation specifically. People I don't know as much, it kind of comes down to, usually I'm just in stranger mode, right? If I treat them like a stranger, I guess, in a way, and that usually means my guard's a little bit more up, and I probably would, first thing, try to do is emotionally help them. I would say kind of agree, because I do think I do that relatively, but there definitely is some of this. That's why I don't want to do any more than that. People can rarely upset you. Mostly agree with that. It's not people themselves that upset me, less more so just happenstance or events that happen or whatnot. But I can't confidently say that people frequently upset me, so I'm just going to do middle agree with that one. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. You rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. I definitely rely on other people to start conversations, 100%. I'm pretty good at keeping it going though, so kind of agree. Kind of. I do think other people. I prefer other people to start the conversation, but I think I do a pretty good job at driving it. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you can make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible. Um, See if I compare it to like K-Core stuff. If I ever have to take a break from K-Core videos or whatnot, yeah. As soon as I'm back, I hit the ground running. I usually try to record stuff quite a bit, so I would say pretty hardly agree on that. Yeah, I'd say mostly agree on that. I don't see any reason I wouldn't. You rarely worry if you made a good impression on someone you met. Strongly disagree. I am constantly worrying about the impression I leave on people. Very, very much constantly. Specifically with people I meet. Less so on the internet, like on YouTube, I don't really care so much. But if it's someone I meet, it's a very high priority for us to get along. I don't know why. But I definitely just strongly, strongly disagree with that one. If it would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. The whole weekend's cutting it close. A lot of what I do is alone, like recording and whatnot. That has to deal with a lot of alone things. I even just recently picked up a job that's going to be like all online. So that's, even if it's not technically alone, I'm working with other people. It's still like, yeah, so I don't know. I would say it'd be a challenge, but not a really big challenge. So I think I would go with medium agree on that. Oh no, sorry, medium disagree. Not a huge challenge, but it would be a little bit of a challenge. You are more of a detail oriented than a big picture person. I'd say I'm definitely more big picture. Um, Definitely more big picture. I just don't know. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the details, but no, I'd say these days I'm a bigger picture person. Definitely, yeah, definitely a bigger picture person. You are very affectionate about people you care about. Yeah, strongly agree about that one. Well, maybe medium. No, strongly. The people I care about, I care too much about. I think too much about it. You have a careful and methodical approach to life. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Not to a very positive extent. I think I could be a lot less careful about and a lot less methodical. Yeah, actually, that's definitely a strong agree. If there's another higher agree, I'd probably put that. Again, it's not really a good thing, I don't think. You are still bothered by the mistakes you made a long time ago. Strongly agree. Everyone would set this, right? I don't know. The mistakes I made a long time ago. Actually, okay, a long time ago. No, yeah, full agree. I wish I could. If I'm honest, it's full agree. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found further away from the action. I hate this question. I remember this question last time too. Um, Medium agree. Don't full agree. It's not something I'm proud of, and it's something I constantly work towards. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. Um, I'd say kind of the opposite. I don't know. When I talk to a lot of people, a lot of it is about emotions and less about logical, step by step happen sense or whatnot. So I would say disagree. But then again, when people are very, very emotional, I find it. Yeah, I do find it difficult to relate to the people who are super emotional. So I'll say medium disagree on that one. When looking for a movie to try to watch, you spend ages browsing the catalog. 100% agree. I'm very indecisive when it comes to that stuff. Just every time I go on Netflix, I'm like, I gotta find something. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. I can stay calm. Yes. No. I don't know. Pressure gets to me. Pressure does get to me. It's just like, I don't know if calm is the key word there. I'm relatively calm, but I am constantly thinking about the pressure. Um, Honestly, I'm gonna go smack dab in the middle. I'm really not sure. Like when I was working in the coffee shop, there'd be rushes and stuff like that, and physically I'd be pretty dang calm, but I'd feel it mentally. In my head, it'd all go bananas off the walls. When in group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation. Mostly disagree. If it's people I know, I definitely have a easier time jumping into the conversation per se. But also, if it's people I don't know, it gives me some kind of leg up because there's some kind of introductory status, and I'm relatively good at that, at opening the doors for conversation with people I've not conversed those things about. In some ways, talking to people I don't know very well is easier than people I really do know, because, like, Appleton, for an example, we've talked about everything at this point. Everything's already been spilled, both on the internet and off the internet. So, I don't know. I'm not going to fully disagree, but I do mostly disagree with that. Jumping right in, not as easily. When you sleep, your dream tends to be bizarre and fantastical. Not so. I mean, everyone's dreams are bizarre. I wouldn't go as far as to say fantastical, though. But they are bizarre, so I'll do medium disagree on that one. That one's kind of a weird question. In your opinion, is it sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life? Whew. To some degree. To some degree. I wish it was less of a degree, but to some degree. So, is it okay to step on others to get ahead of life? No. No. I can't put myself in the position where I would step on someone else. It's just not. That's not how I do things. Like, even if in my head I might be like, it makes sense, I can't really do that. If you're dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. I mean, I get sidetracked, but I definitely have goals that I have stayed dedicated and focused towards. I would say I definitely have focus and I'm definitely dedicated, with occasionally getting sidetracked. So I'll say mostly agree with that one, but not entirely. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, and your knowledge. Whoopsies, that's 100%. Okay, move on. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people, mostly talk to the ones you already know. I definitely like to have that safety net, but also I try to make it a point to talk to everybody at some point, and that's mainly for my own sanity. But I don't particularly enjoy it a lot, so I'm just going to mostly agree with that. Wait, you rarely try. Yeah, I'm going to mostly agree, but not entirely. You usually lose interest in discussion when it gets philosophical. Strongly disagree. I really get into the philosophy stuff. Would you ever let yourself cry in front of others? You would never let yourself cry in others. Mostly agree with that. I have cried in front of others before. And it really mostly just depends on how sad the situation is. I don't cry super often, though. So, I would say whether or not there's people around, though, does play a factor. So I would say slightly agree. But honestly, not by a huge extent. And it also depends on the people, of course. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than a more quiet and intimate one. Strongly disagree with that. Strongly. Quiet and intimate, that's all that I'm about. I like that. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future. Kinda, yeah. I wouldn't say strongly. It's not one of my main points of conversation, but a lot of my conversations do end up going there, so probably. I definitely don't dislike talking about it. I'd say that's a medium, agree. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. No, I definitely listen to my head more. I listen, yeah. I have a hard time discerning what my heart actually says, so that might be a strong disagree. Maybe a medium. No, that's a strong disagree. I mostly listen to my head. You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something you cannot see, touch, or experience. What a bizarre question. I guess, like, if we take history for an example, right? History's not something I can see, touch, or experience. It's all in the past. And yeah, I wouldn't want to dedicate my life towards that. The things I do want to dedicate are things that I see, touch, and experience. So, yeah, I actually strongly agree with that. Strongly. It took a while to digest it. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. No, 100% forgive. 100. If something's wrong, I usually immediately think it's my fault. So I don't see myself as the revenge type. I'm really not. You often make decisions on a whim. I plan out a lot of stuff, but honestly, a lot of the stuff that I plan out is because it's on a whim, I suppose. So I'm going to relatively disagree with that, but not fully. I think that's, yeah, really smallly disagree. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. Ooh. You see, back when I took this test originally, I'm pretty sure I full on agreed with this. Nowadays, I think I'm closer to disagree somewhere. I definitely get more satisfaction when doing the things I like with other people. I definitely get less satisfaction doing things I don't like with other people than I do just by myself. So I'm gonna small disagree with that. Small disagree. Again, I probably would have entirely agreed with that back then. But like I said, I feel like my personality has changed a bit. You often put social effort into interpreting the real meaning of a message or a song or a movie. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yes, that's 100% right. You always know exactly what you want. Strongly disagree with that. Strongly, 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 strongly. You rarely think about the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. Um, Strongly disagree. I always think about that. Always, 100%. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. 100% agree with that. That's still very much true. You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. Present realities and future possibilities. Right? Yeah, I'd say I agree with that. To what extent, I don't know. I do drink. I do think about future possibilities. I don't know. No, then again, I think I'm very much in the moment. I would actually strongly agree with that. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Small agree. Small agree. I feel like I've gotten a handle on a lot of people's feelings. So, I just think about it a lot. I would actually do small agree on that one. You know what? No, down the middle, down the middle. I think I've gotten a pretty good understanding of other people's feelings. When starting to no, small. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. When starting to work on a project, I do that quite often. Prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. I don't know. I definitely see the value in it, and I think when I have nothing else to do, I just start doing it automatically. But also, I'm very much in a like we'll figure it out as we go kind of way with projects. So I'll say slightly agree with that. Maybe mostly, not mostly. I don't know. We'll put it there. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it'll be until they become disappointed. Yikes! Ooh, that's a strong agree. That's a strong agree. Every day I wonder, which friend's am I gonna lose next? Which is funny because I don't actually lose friends very often. I very rarely, but like, you just can't help but think it. Okay, cool. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Strongly disagree. If it's at like a social party, maybe, but yeah, yeah. No, strongly disagree. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios. 100%. I spend most of my time daydreaming. You look after yourself first and others come second. Ooh. I don't know. I very much look after myself a lot. Others, I don't know. I don't know. That one's a tough one. Look at yourself first and others come in second. I would say small agree with that. I definitely very much care about other people, but ultimately I spend a lot more time looking after myself than other people. Unfortunately, I probably should change that. Even when you planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. Kind of agree with that, yeah. I set up a lot of plans for things that like I kind of consider work or something I have to get done. Usually that goes out a little better, but just for planning out my regular day, like, okay, take a shower at this time, make this breakfast at this time or whatnot, and finish this. It usually just comes down to what I want. But I do follow a lot of routines also. But yeah, I would say middle agree. Your mood can change very quickly. I think I strongly disagree with that. I think my mood takes a while to change, and when it does change, it's usually changed for like a period of time or whatnot. I don't think it changes necessarily quickly. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. Contemplate, not as much, honestly. I usually dream about more practical things that will directly affect me. So I would say small disagree, but I do think about it. Just the word contemplate makes it seem tough. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. Yeah, that's tricky, because on the one hand, I don't feel like I feel like because I don't talk very often in general, I want to say disagree. But when I do talk, it's a lot about feelings, I imagine. No, I would say it's more opinion-based and more critique-based and whatnot. Less feelings and emotions. So, yeah, I would disagree with that, mostly. But I don't know. I've had a lot of conversations about feelings and emotions too. Sometimes I feel like I talk about it too much, but maybe because I feel like I talk about it too much is a sign that I don't talk about it enough. I don't know. You've got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. Strongly disagree. I don't. You rarely dwell on your regrets. Strongly disagree. I do. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a gateway or getaway. Oh, I see. Dynamics with lots of people quickly makes you feel drained. Absolutely, 100%. That hasn't changed at all. If I'm with a lot of people, I need that recharge time. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. That's a tough question. That's a really tough one. But honestly, yes, I probably full-heartedly agree with that. I don't think I could BS myself and say that. I like to dream, but honestly, when it comes to brass tacks, I'm very much more of a realist. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have. Oh, what a bizarre question. Something I never have makes it easier to empathize because I haven't been through it. That's so bizarre. That's trippy. That's downright trippy, my guy. I'm trying to think someone I had to empathize with. Gosh, that's kind of weird, but also I kind of agree with that. Kind of. At the same time, if someone has gone through something I've gone through, no, I get too sour. I get too sour when someone's gone through the same thing I've gone through because I get it in my head that like there's different values of what we've gone through, and really everybody's values are just directed towards the amount of pain someone's gone through is well, maybe not physical pain, but emotional pain is entirely based off of how they take the situation. So who am I to say anyone's pain is greater than others? So I don't know. I don't know how we got there. Find it easy to emphasize the person's got through something. I relatively agree with that. Smallly. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy rather than organized and consistent efforts. I would actually mostly disagree with that. I do get spontaneous bursts of energy and whatnot, and I do work towards it, but it's on a relatively regulated basis to make it feel consistent. And it might not last as long as other people's. I do get burnt out a little bit, but I would say that just points more towards routine, so I would disagree with this. Maybe not full-heartedly, but medium-heartedly. Oh, is that the end? No? Okay. Where's the next? Your emotions control you more than you control them. Small disagree on that. I definitely think my emotions control me quite a bit, but more than I control them. I control emotions relatively too much, I would say. Medium disagree, in fact. After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. I don't know. Party can be interpreted different ways, but the social understanding as to what a fun party is, typically that's the last thing I want after a long and exhausting week. So, but I'll put it at kind of, because sometimes I definitely feel the urge to party after I feel like I've earned it, basically. You frequently find yourself wondering how technology advancement could change everyday life. Yeah, admittedly. No, let's fully agree. Admittedly. I try not to be that guy. I wonder about it. I don't talk about it a lot. I don't try to bother people with that kind of discussion as much. It comes out, though. Just the other day, I was like, isn't it weird that, like, we're now required to all have cell phone cases? Like, when's the last time you've seen a cell phone without a cell phone case? It's just become an accessory that we're required to have. And it's like, how's that going to... What's the next thing in the future going to be that's like everybody has with their phones? What kind of accessory is that going to be? Because it's just expected to have it. And also, will phones get more and more cheap and break easier, which arguably they already are because they're more and more glass-oriented as time goes on because people are just expected to get a case. I don't know. It's interesting. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing something. Yes. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. You still honor the commitments you've made even if you have a change of heart. Yeah, I do. Fully agree. You rarely feel insecure. Strongly disagree with that one. Okay. No, I got the exact same thing. Actually, they added a T to it. So what does the T mean? Turbulent. This trait underpins all... Oh, yeah, I got turbulent last time, too. Definitely not assertive. Yeah, this... Okay, you know what's interesting? It's not... Okay, so the introverted extroverted. Last time I did it, I was like 90% introverted. Now I'm 85. I'm flattening the curve, my guys. I am flattening the curve. Your trait shows where you direct your mental energy, intuitive or observant. Yeah, I would say pretty split down the middle makes sense for this one. Woo! I actually got rid of my page. Hang on, let me pull it back up. Nature. This trait determines how we make decisions and cope with our emotions. 39% 61% feeling. Yeah, I would actually argue probably more feeling than that, but maybe not like a 90% thing. Tactics. This trait reflects approach to work, planning, and decision making. More judging than prospecting. But barely. They're pretty close to middle. I would say that's relatively accurate. Identity. This trait underpins all others, showing how... Oh, yeah, we already did that. Turbulent. Definitely more turbulent than assertive. In fact, I would say 26% assertive even seems too much to me. Okay. Would you like to email? No, thanks. We're going to read just a little bit of this, okay? We're going to read some of the things. Introduction. The advocate personality type is very rare, making up less than 1% of the population, but they nonetheless leave their mark on the world. Advocates have an inborn sense of idealism and morality that sets apart that they're not idle. Sets apart is that they are not idle dreamers. These individuals are capable of taking concrete steps towards realizing their goals and make lasting positive impact. Awfully generous introduction so far. Again, I feel like part of this is a little bit of saying what you want to hear. That way, because they do actually sell something on this site, like we can go in a little bit deeper or whatnot. And I think they tend to move towards things that are a little bit more generalized that a lot of people feel. I'm sure this introduction that I read, someone out there might have listened to this and thought the exact same thing, but if they take the test, they get a completely different person. Then they realize, oh, wait a second, this person's actually accurate too. So I don't know, but we're going to test that theory in just a bit. People with this person tend to see helping other people as a purpose in life. Yeah, advocates can often be found engaging in rescue efforts and doing charity work. However, the real passion is getting to the heart of the issue so that people not be rescued at all. Okay. That sounds all a little bit more ambitious than how I feel, but yeah, I guess. Advocates indeed share a unique combination of traits. Though soft-spoken, they are very strong opinions and will fight tirelessly for an idea they believe in. Yeah. They are decisive and strong-willed, but will rarely use that energy for personal gain. That all resonates with me. Again, could just be the description. Advocates will act with creativity, imagination, conviction, and sensitivity, not to create an advantage, but to create balance. Okay, you see, like that really rings true with all the competitions I create and stuff and games and events I host. I definitely more looking towards a balanced playing field, and I try not. I'm not the kind of guy who would exploit something to get a leg up in a game or whatnot. Egalitarianism, I don't even know what that is, and karma are very attractive ideas to advocate. Karma definitely is attractive to me. These types tend to believe that nothing would help the world so much as using love and compassion to soften the hearts of tyrants. I don't think I fully agree with that last line. I don't know. Maybe not fully. Nothing lights up advocates like creating a solution that changes people's lives. Yeah, that does feel pretty good. Advocates find it easy to make connections with others. I don't know if I'd agree with that one either. They have a talent for warm, sensitive language, speaking in human terms rather than with pure logic and fact. It makes sense that their friends and colleagues will come to think of them as quiet, extroverted personality types. I see. Yeah. A lot of people, when I tell them I'm really introverted, they're sometimes surprised if they don't know me very well yet. The people who know me definitely know that I'm introverted, though. But you wouldn't be able to tell through just one conversation. However, they would all do well to remember that advocates need time to be alone and decompress and recharge. It's not become too alarmed when they suddenly withdraw. Yes, that's the key to most introverts, fellas. They need their time to re-get their energy. Advocates take great care of others' feelings, and they expect the favor to be returned. Sometimes that means giving them the space they need for a few days. Yeah, I would say that's relative. So that kind of goes more towards balance again. Really, though, it is most important for people with the advocate personality type to remember to take care of themselves. The passion of their conviction is perfectly capable of carrying them past their breaking point. If their zeal gets out of hand, they can find themselves exhausted, unhealthy, and stressed. I would say that is what causes a lot of stress that I feel, yeah. This becomes especially apparent when advocates find themselves up against conflict and criticism. Ooh, I don't like this part. Their sensitivity forces these personalities to do everything they can to evade these seemingly personal attacks. When the circumstances are unavoidable, however, they can fight back in highly irrational, unhelpful ways. I've definitely been unrational before with people contradicting with my opinions or whatnot. Honestly, though, nowadays, I feel like that's not as much the case. I don't think I take things as personal attacks as much as I used to. Definitely before. But right now, I would say this is entirely accurate. For the most, it's irrationality calls, like, if I'm in a heated argument or whatnot, then this might be more accurate. But honestly, I just don't argue that way anymore. To advocates, the world is a place of inequity, but it doesn't have to be. No other person type is better suited to create a movement, right or wrong, no matter how big or small. Don't know if I agree about that. Advocates just need to remember that while they're busy taking care of the world, they need to take care of themselves too. Yeah, so interesting. A lot of that I definitely agree with, and I feel like fits me pretty well. There's definitely some stuff in there though that, like, some of the more ambitious stuff, changing the world or whatnot. I don't know if I necessarily have that outlook. I'm more based off of living life myself, but also just helping out people when I can. I don't have any kind of like end goal or big ideas to help the mass people. I'd say I'm less of an advocate for that in that sense. Okay, so that's the description. That's as far as I'm going to read. They have all this. Oh, okay. Actually, I want to read some strengths and weaknesses because I feel like this is where catering could really happen. Let's definitely read the strengths. Creative. Combine a vivid imagination with a strong sense of compassion. Advocates use their creativity to resolve not technical challenges, but human ones. People with advocate personality types enjoy finding the perfect solution for someone they care about. This strength makes them excellent counselors and advisors. I would say relatively decent at advising, but again, these are strengths. They're things that are supposed to make me feel good. So I'm keeping that in mind. Insightful, seeing through dishonesty and disingenuous motives. Advocates step past manipulation and sales tactics and into a more honest discussion. Yeah, I would say I try to do that. I don't know if that's necessarily a strength. That feels more like conversation controlling to me. Advocate personalities see how people and events are connected. They are able to use that insight to get to the heart of the matter. Inspiring and convincing, speaks in human terms, not technical. Advocates have a fluid, inspirational writing style that appeals to the inner idealist in their audience. Well, yeah, that might be true with some of the stuff that I script out or whatnot, or papers I've written. Advocates can be astonishingly good orators. I don't know what that is. Speaking with warmth and passion. Yeah, I would say I relatively frequently speak with warmth and passion. This is especially true if they're proud of what they are speaking for. Definitely. Decisive. Wait. This just seems false at first. I'm definitely not decisive. Advocates' creativity, insight, inspiration are able to have a real impact on the world. This is because they're able to follow through on their ideas and conviction, willpower, and plan necessary to see the complex projects through the end. Okay, when they put it like that. Again, a lot of my time is spent on YouTube, so I relate this to a lot of projects. I would say nowadays I'm very good at getting a project to its end point. People with the advocate personality type don't see the way things ought to be. They act on those insights. I would say I'm not super great at acting on the insights that I give, though, so I'm not sure if this section is entirely correct. Okay, I'm just going to skip the rest for time sets. Let's go to weaknesses. This one's probably going to hurt. Sensitive. When someone challenges or criticizes advocates' principles or values, they are likely to receive alarmingly strong response. So far, no. I don't think I give an alarmingly strong response. That's not me. But I definitely feel troubled when someone specifically criticizes values or principles, stuff that I hold near and dear to my heart. If someone contradicts it, it's hard for me to really fully accept that. I may verbally accept it, but a lot of times I just by default hold stuff. This goes above movies, though, by the way. Movies and games and other things I commonly talk about. This doesn't really apply to that, but bigger things, bigger pictures, bigger values and moralities and whatnot. That becomes stuff I have a hard time fully accepting the differing opinions on. Although I don't counter them with alarmingly strong responses, I wouldn't say. People with advocate personality type are highly vulnerable to criticism and conflict. Okay, yeah. If it's about oneself, less about like my opinions or whatnot, I would say that's relatively true. Questioning their motives is the quickest way to their bad side. No. That I definitely disagree with. The people question my motives all the time. They're definitely not on my bad side. Owlton and Bombastic question my motives every time we speak. That's what we do, and we've been doing that since like the dawn of time or whatnot, right? Because we have definitely different lifestyles. In no point in any time would I ever say they're on my bad side. I've never had Caleb and Seth on my bad sides ever. That just hasn't happened. Extremely private. Yep, we're going to skip that one because I'm extremely private. That's true. I am very private. Perfectionist. Advocates' personalities are all but defined by the pursuit of ideals. While this is a wonderful quality in many ways, an ideal situation is not always possible. In politics, in business, and romance. Advocates, especially turbulent ones, that's me, too often drop to ignore healthy, productive situations and relationships, always believing there might be a better option down the road. Kind of. I don't know. I'm very much with the flow, though, too. I've done a lot of things because I feel like it's good in the now and not because I think there's going to be something better. So I don't entirely agree with that one either. I'm finding I'm disagreeing with a lot more stuff in here than I did my last time I took it. But again, I'm also feel like I've changed a little bit since last time. Okay. That's as far as we're going to go with the honest one. Let's now go into the non-honest one. So we're just going back to the website. Going to take the test. Here we go. Doing the opposite. You enjoy vibrant social events with a lot of people. Agree. In fact, I'm not even going to record this. I'm just going to do it, okay? I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I did it. I did the exact opposite of every result. I went back and watched the video as I filled out the form so I could specifically do the exact opposite for everyone. So theoretically, these percentages should be pretty similar, but opposite. But I don't know. I don't know how it works, okay? But basically, 85% extroverted. Yikes. That is definitely not me. I'm entrepreneur, by the way. ESTPA. Someone energy is more observant than intuitive. This trait shows mental energy. Things like this doesn't change much because, it's pretty halfway down. More assertive than turbulent. This is something I definitely disagree with. It's not me. But let's see. We're going to read what it says. No, I don't want you to email. Come on now. Entrepreneurs have always have an impact on their immediate surroundings. The best way to spot them at a party is to look for a whirling eddy of people. A whirling eddy of people. I don't know what that means. Fitting about them as they move from group to group. Laughing, entertaining, with a blunt and earthy humor. Entrepreneur personalities love to be the center of attention. Yikes, that does not sound like me. If an audience member is asked to come on stage, entrepreneurs volunteer or volunteers a shy friend. Oh, I've been the shy friend before. Less so am I the volunteer. To be fair, every once in a while, I do get into the limelight. Like I get into an entertaining mood where I want to entertain people. I would say most of my life I spend entertaining those around me, like at least attempting to entertain those around me. So there's some truth behind that. I can see some truth behind that. Theory, abstract concepts, and plotting discussions about global issues and their implications don't keep entrepreneurs interested for so long. That's definitely not true about me. Entrepreneurs, I keep saying entrepreneurs keep their conversation energetic with a good dose of intelligence, but they like to talk about what is, or better yet, to just go out and do it. I see some truth behind that. Entrepreneurs leap before they look, fixing their mistakes as they go, rather than sitting idle, preparing contingencies and escape clauses. Okay, I know a lot of people like this, and this is definitely not me. But that's okay. Never confuse movement with action. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to skip all this stuff and just go straight to strengths and weaknesses, because I believe strengths is where it's the most pandery. So let's see. Strengths. Bold. Already does not sound like me. People with the entrepreneur personality type are full of life and energy. There's no greater joy for entrepreneurs than pushing boundaries and discovering and using new things and ideas. Using new things and ideas. There's no. This does not sound rational and practical. Okay, this sounds kind of like me a little bit. Entrepreneurs love knowledge and philosophy, but not for their own sake. What's fun for entrepreneur personalities is finding ideas and actionable and drilling into the details so they put them to use. If a discussion is completely arbitrary, there are better uses for entrepreneurs' time. I see some truth behind that. I feel like that one is similar to myself. I definitely, just because this goes back to where I feel like I don't follow a lot of the philosophies that I like to discuss and advocate. Some might say I'm borderline hypocritical. Not because I don't want to follow it. I would say, I guess hypocritical usually has that kind of backwards intent to it, and I don't think I have the backwards intent. It's something I do want to follow. I'm just bad at it, I would say. Original, combining their boldness and practicality. Entrepreneurs love to experiment with new ideas and solutions. They put things together in ways no one else would think to. I don't know about the last sentence, but I feel some of the top one. Perspective. This originally is helped by entrepreneurs' ability to notice when things change and when they need to change. Small shifts in habits and appearances stick out to entrepreneurs as they use their observations to help create connections with others. No, I would say that's pretty similar to myself too. I would say perspective. Using observations help with connect with others. I'd say that's definitely true about me. And when things change and when they need to change. Yeah, no, that's definitely feels like me too. Again, this is strength, so maybe this is just driving towards narcissism. Direct. This perspective skill isn't used for mind games. Entrepreneurs prefer to communicate clearly with direct and factual questions and answers. Things are what they are. No, less so that. I'm less so that. Sociable. All these qualities pull together to make a natural group leader in entrepreneurs. This isn't something they actively seek. People with this personality just have a knack for making excellent use of social interaction and networking opportunities. I mean, there's some truth behind that for me. It's just the word they use, sociable. I would not say I'm super sociable. So maybe that doesn't work. There's weaknesses. Okay. Insensitive. Feelings and emotions come second to facts and reality. Entrepreneurs' emotionally charged situations are awkward, uncomfortable affairs, and entrepreneurs' blunt honesty doesn't help here. These personalities often have a lot of trouble acknowledging and expressing their own feelings as well. I would say that's not me. No, I would say I'm definitely more the sensitive side. Impatient. No, I'm definitely more patient. Let's let's speed this up. Risk prone. This impatience can lead to entrepreneurs to push into uncharted territory without thinking of the long-term consequences. Yeah, that's definitely not me as much. Unstructured. As they see an opportunity to fix a problem, to advance, to have fun. They seize the moment, often ignorant rules and social expectations of the process. Ignoring rules, sorry. I'm getting tired now. It has surpassed the midnight hour. Yeah, definitely not me. May miss the bigger picture. The living in the moment can cause entrepreneurs to miss the forest in the trees. I would feel this way sometimes too. People with a personality type love to solve problems here and now, perhaps too much. All parts of a project can be perfect, but the project will still fail if those parts don't fit together. Yeah, I'd say that's similar to myself. Defiant. Entrepreneurs won't be boxed in. Repetition, hardline rules, sitting quietly while they are lectured at. This isn't how entrepreneurs live their lives. They are action-oriented and hands-on. Environments like school and much entry-level work can be so tedious that they're intolerable, requiring extraordinary effort for entrepreneurs to stay focused long enough to get freer positions. I don't know. I don't entirely agree with that. Yeah, okay. I would say a lot of these feel like opposites to me. Big thing is like insensitive and impatient. I feel like both of those are just big opposites for me. But some of them, like rational and practical, I would say, yeah, that transfers over to how I feel at least. Okay, so I think that was interesting. There's definitely a difference in personalities, and a lot of a personality that's not what I tested definitely doesn't cater towards me as much as one that I did tested. But there absolutely is some pandering going on. I can definitely see that this is not 100%. I was very clear about the things I didn't feel or whatnot. So every person's different, ultimately. Every personality is different. These are just rough categorizations that are not only a fun way to explore how you would deal with certain scenarios just through the questionnaires, but also to just find out, just to find a better way to explore your personality. It's kind of difficult to capture your personality in a sentence if you've never explored it before, But I think it can be fun exploring how you deal with situations and figuring out just what other kind of personalities click with you, and I don't know. It's interesting. I find it interesting, at least. Personalities I've always found interesting. So anyway, if you guys like to try it out, again, 16personalities.com. Just don't take it super hardly. Use it as a maybe icebreaker conversation if you want, but don't let it go much farther than that. It's really just something that's interesting, and ultimately, your personality is your personality, and you will know it better than anybody else so long as you explore it. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. So long.